All right, and welcome on into DMS Adventurers Tavern, where adventure is always on the menu. We are here for the very last session of our Story Seekers, the epilogue, as you will, if you will. And we are super excited for this to well, it's both a sad and happy situation that we find ourselves in because we are excited about the future adventures, but also a little bit sad since we have been with these guys for a year. But before we get into all of that and find out exactly what the final for these characters is, let me go over the weekly schedule. On Monday, next Monday, we will be starting a brand new campaign. I will, myself, along with Cause, will be running Dragon of Ice Spire Peak. For those of you not familiar, that is the Essentials kit that you can get, and a very amazing campaign for newer DMs. And for all ages, kids games to adults, and it is a fun time. So we will be doing that. Then on Tuesdays or Thursdays, we have our gaming Thursdays. I'm gonna try to get back to some Valheim this week. On Fridays, we have our brand new campaign there as well. So super excited about starting that. Join us for Friday to find out what the new campaign is. And let's just say Ragnarok finally talked me into allowing him to play a role he's been asking for since, at the very least, 2020. I'm not sure. He might have been asking in 2019. But I finally gave in. So join us on Friday for the reveal of that. And then Saturday, we are back at school again with our Strix 7 College of Chaos adventure. Gotta get back to school, got a test to take, got all the things. Oh, look at that. He's not even in Discord, but he's already redeeming treat time. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Your Uncle Ragnarok really does love you, buddy. Yeah, he does. All right. So we've got the treat time going on right now. All right. And but just definitely join us for the new campaigns that are starting out. Super excited. Also a little bit going, I'm starting so many campaigns at the same time. But it's going to be fine. So join us for those. It's going to be... Oh no. Uncle Ragnarok beat Auntie Kate. Auntie Kate was waiting. All right. Okay. So with that, we are going to go ahead and transition over to our story seekers here to the... Okay. I said I was going to screw it up. So Denouement. Say it, Andrew.
Denouement.
Thank you. Of the story seekers. All right. See, I knew that was gonna be a thing. All right. So with that, our story seekers here have finished their epic adventure that they had last week, as they were taking on the very first Draco Lich that had been reborn. It was pretty awesome. I gotta say, it was pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and switch the music up a little bit. It's just a little different here. But they survived thanks to some very ingenious moves by all of their players. The cleric most especially coming in clutch in this last fight, as
MVP for sure.
so definite MVP of the collaboration between Steve and Cause, as I heard rumor that Steve and Cause had a conversation beforehand to plan what it was they should do. So that was very cool. That was very cool. And the previous session casting of Death Ward was definitely super important too. But so let us go ahead and get to the bar at Candlekeep as you all are teleported back to the bar along with Bludger's wife, and kind of sitting there taking a moment to just reflect on what the heck just happened and how very close you were to not surviving. So, is there any conversations you would like to have at this point as your characters?
Where are we? Who's here?
You've got Rycanis, you've got Starflower, you've got Orsic, and yourself.
Yep. How you feeling, Rancanis? Is your throat better?
Something just hit me with that Dracolich. I don't know. I was almost beside myself.
Could be that you could be allergic to Dracolich. I mean, let's be real.
Maybe.
Might just be the mountain flowers or something. You sound like yourself again, though. That's good. I'm glad.
Better today, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just reflecting on everything that could have happened but didn't.
No, yeah, that was close, huh?
You were. Ooh. If you weren't there, I don't think none of us would be here right now. So,
That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That was I don't know. Was that the hardest fight we've ever had? Sure felt like it.
Yeah, I have to say I got knocked down enough times in that fight that I definitely rethinking my mortality. That's for sure.
I'm gonna walk over to Bludger's wife. What's her
Okay.
name again? I forget.
Soris.
Soris.
I don't
Soris. I
remember.
think it's Soris.
I think it's
Soris.
yes.
I know Bludger's hanging out with the kid right now because, you know. Do you
Soris.
mind if we
Sorry. Soris.
Soris, do you mind if we grab some drinks and
You guys have
and
more than
leave?
earned it. You know that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll play bartender. I'll go back behind the bar.
I mean, Bob's got you too, so don't worry.
Yes, but Bob's a rock.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And she kind of
Large
looks
business.
towards the door that leads to their room.
Yeah.
And she's like, uh-huh. And just kind of rolls her eyes. It's like, I'm aware of this. I just got to say it because, you know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I kind of blacked out there for a second. Did Bludger try to ride this thing?
No, he just beat the hell out of it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah,
wanted
face
to.
First into the face of that creature.
Yeah.
He wanted to ride it, but, you know, didn't take the opportunity.
I mean, man, that thing was big.
It was.
I mean, Caius was big. You know, if I'm really thinking about it, of the 2 times we've saved, 2.5 times, 3 times, whatever, we've saved the world. I think Caius was the scarier one, but this one was harder. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, under the right situation, though, I mean, you know, this Dracolich out in the open, you would have thought we'd have a little bit more advantage, but
Oh,
no, it didn't seem like where we went, it was there.
I threw the most powerful spell known to mortal kind at that thing, and it laughed at me. Man.
Oh yeah, was that disintegrate or?
No, it's when I summon the meteors to rain death down. I can do that from a mile away, by the way. Did you know that? Nobody should have spells like that. Nobody should have spells like that. I mean, I thought it was going to be big, but when I saw it happen, I was like, oh my God, what I could do with this? Jeez. No wonder wizards go crazy.
Yeah, it did. You're right, though. It did feel like whatever you and Nyx and Star threw at that thing from range, it
Man.
really didn't seem to mind so much. Till close to the end, it was definitely, you could tell it was getting worried there at the end. But I don't know.
I mean, you do what you gotta. Maybe, and he's bringing drinks out to everybody, and sets them out and sits down. Maybe we don't save the world anymore for a while. Does that sound okay?
Well, I mean, I'm not looking for it, but if it were to come up, I don't see how we could ignore it.
No, that's true.
You're right. I think we're due a little rest for sure.
Right?
Maybe the world will get safer for a little while, huh?
Hey, I'm gonna make a spell, by the way. As soon as I get back to Thunderwing Hall, I am making a spell that will detect teleport enchantments on written works, books, letters, any of it. And I'm going to teach it all to all of you. Or I'm going to put it on a ring and give it to you, so you can just cast it every time you get a piece of mail.
Oh man, that's better than my idea. I was just going to hire somebody to open all my mail for me.
See, but that's funny because then they teleport over and not you. That's good.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe use the ring, detect it, and if it is detected, you detect something, then have them open it.
That's right.
Right.
As you see her bring out some food to you.
If I notice the weather is a teleportation thing, I just give it to someone else and they open it and go on the adventure.
Starflower's way, man.
You can use it as a training tool too.
So, are you guys just going to go back home? What's the deal? What's the plan?
Well, I'm always looking to see what I can create and improve on my armor, and maybe help out other towns along the way. I think I'm going to just travel up the coastline and then maybe head inland to the mountains. And I've heard there's some good dwarven artifacts in the mountains that maybe I can translate and put to use.
Did you grow up in a dwarven hold? I don't think I ever asked.
No, just a small village. My father was a smithy, and I kind of learned a lot from him. But I was more into the tinkering side of things than the smithing, but he did help out a lot on my teaching.
I met a guy not too long ago from Gauntlgrim. You should go there. I mean, dwarves control it, but there's lots of people there, and they have some of the best forges in the world.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, thank you. I'll head that way.
It's not too far from Neverwinter. I can bring you there if you want.
Oh, that's right. You've got your school right up there, don't you?
No, my school's in
Neverwinter now.
No, my school's in Waterdeep, but I can bring you anywhere in the world you want me to bring you. I can bring you anywhere in any world you want me to bring you.
That'd be awesome.
Well, you guys know you're always welcome here as well.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, well, definitely would be paying a visit here and there, as to catch up on things around here.
Oh, hey, by the way, Saurus, every single time I'm taking your husband out of here, you made me swear on my life that he comes back in one piece, and here all the time, you've been an adventurer too. How does that work?
Well, you know that... Did you just think that I just hang around the bar the whole time?
No, I figured you did what you do. I don't know. No, but still. I didn't realize you were like an adventurer manager.
Somebody has to make sure these kids survive.
Right on.
I mean, I am a wizard after all.
See? I never asked.
Yeah.
What kind of wizard are you?
I don't remember what he decided she was going to be.
She's a wizard in the kitchen. Those deviled eggs are awesome.
You see those are on the tray.
I'm totally eating one. They're so good.
Let's see here. I don't know. I will come up with that right now.
Speaking of Wizard's house, next, by the way.
You notice that once you got back here, Nyx almost immediately teleported out after you guys all got back. And it seems that they needed to get back to somewhere that was less Draco-lichy and definitely less red wizardy. Because they they were definitely not doing well. So close to death as it was.
Well,
I don't
hopefully
blame.
we've knocked those red wizards down a peg or two, and they won't be trying that for a while.
Well, they
Oh,
definitely won't be causing as much problem. That's for sure.
Right?
so London, how about you? What are your plans next? I know you got the school you're running, but
Yeah, I'm gonna do that for a while. Um, last year or so, I took up some time doing some exploring. So different planes, and mostly I was looking for creatures that I could shape change into. But in that, I did some exploring, and so I think I might do some more of that. You know, well, mostly because I want to be, busy. So when Waterdeep's weird and political, and now people know that I have a school there. So every now and again, people show up and try to get me to do stuff, and all I want to do is my thing. And so it's nice sometimes to be able to tell them, "Oh, sorry, I can't help you with your problem, Lords of Waterdeep, because I've got stuff to do on the astral plane." So I think I'm going to do some poking around and some exploring and see what I can find out in the wide multiverse. It's a big place.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine. Like just a load of learning and adventure going on then.
She is
Yeah.
a war wizard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yep.
I was thinking it would be like that or illusion or something.
Yeah,
that
I
makes
was
sense.
like, illusion is too. Yeah, no, because she's a succubus, so I think war wizard works. Yep,
War Wizard.
war wizard.
Nice.
That, of course, because that's why the princess came to me to orchestrate and figure out how to get the best to come help us.
Oh, did they raise hit the king? Did they resurrect him?
They did.
Bring him back?
They did.
That's cool.
Yes, they did.
It's nice to
Well,
help.
the princess is happy.
She
Her
is.
father's back.
Yes, and thankfully so, because they just got the ordning back under control, and had they not had King Hecaton at its lead, I think it wouldn't have. It maybe might not have succeeded as well with the princess at the helm versus the king. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but hopefully with that, she can get that all figured out. But yeah, I'm ready to stay home for a while as well. I'm just hopefully, there's not many of us around, so hopefully there's another that will step up for a while.
Sure. Well, there's always more people in the realms looking to find adventure.
Agreed.
I got all this magical treasure that I don't use, so I don't know. Maybe I'll start trading on that. I got plenty of money, but eventually, I mean, it's not like I'm funding the school myself. I actually still have to get an income. So
Right.
maybe I'll do that.
Well, there's always that, and depends on, how you want your school to be run. You can always, have some of your students go on missions and the
Well,
like, and you can go with them to oversee or whatever.
Well, eventually, I'd like to expand it to do some magical instruction. I mean, right now, I'm just teaching them to read and write and trying to connect them with, tradesmen and stuff so that they can get off the streets. So,
Right.
but I hope there's been some have come through. And, we brought that apprentice back that died on our mission before we fought the dragon.
Right.
And I had him raised. And so he's been an apprentice of mine now. He's not with the Red Wizards anymore. He's a good kid.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
You guys have done so much good in the world, and I mean, look at Bludger alone. He is.
I mean, just look at him.
Yeah, he's a much different person than he was when I met him, And I
Right.
mean, he's actually wearing pants on a regular basis now.
Huge change.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was.
Hey, Star, what are you planning on doing?
I'm just going to just hang out at home. I'm actually want to start a family soon. I'm not.
Yeah.
Wait,
Well,
what?
I was gonna ask, how's that new friend of yours? Any dates or any plans?
Mostly been partying out, try to find a suitable partner in the West.
I would make sure and steer clear of your sister for a while, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister still hates me, but I think we're getting better so far.
Okay.
I hope he's, nice to you. He's nice, right? They, she, who, what? Who are they?
Well, if I start bringing her into trouble, she'll start to like me again.
Yeah. Well, your sister, but
No,
So-
I'm talking about the friend.
Oh, my new friend? He's a TikTok, not a TikTok.
Yeah,
He's a
just
satyr.
a satyr.
a satyr. Huh. Well,
I'm
that's
sure she's mentioned dating a satyr at some point.
And
hey,
there
Ledger.
he is. Hello, Ledger.
They're there.
Yes.
We were just talking about, what we're going to be doing from now on. We're all
What?
pretty tired.
You're all hanging out you're in your bar. Your wife
Is
has
this-
supplied food and Bob, with the help of Larden, distributed drinks out.
So is this the same day or the day after?
It's a day after.
Yeah, you're right. In.
Yep.
I'm glad they didn't make us walk back. It was kind of nice to be able to teleport back. It was
Mhm.
good of them.
Yeah. So you do notice Nyx has bamfed out as soon as you guys got back to Candlekeep. Having
Good
some
boy.
having some mortality trauma. She bamfed out, but
Yeah, Nyx will be all right. Nyx is pretty tough, but that was a rough fight for them. So, she'll be back. I ain't worried.
How about you, Candace? I'm definitely thinking I'm going to stop by a few temples of your god and leave a few gold pieces in there for all the help he left us. But, what are your plans?
Oh, that is very much appreciated. The coin would go well. My plan is to stay around Candlekeep and probably travel the high and long roads, walking those paths, and maybe stop over by the school, Arden School, and cure sniffles and aches and pains of the kids in
Oh.
spring and the fall,
They'd like that.
and kind of stay in the employ of maybe Candlekeep and around the bar. It seems that we've had a lot of great adventures here, so I think Torm would agree for me to stay around and keep on the good work he's having me do.
and
I bet you could convince him.
you see Cyrus is like, we wouldn't mind you sticking around.
They
Kind
need somebody
of.
to start checking these books before they bring him into this place. I think a security role would be awesome.
Agreed.
Well, it's happened a few times where I have cured a few people that Bludger so graciously asked to leave the bar, so that kind of helps.
Yeah,
I reckon it's 30 feet to throw someone.
graciously.
I've
True.
seen 35.
Yeah, well, I'm usually drinking more then.
Here's the thing. Like, you'd think a bar in Candlekeep would be pretty darn tame. Like, really think about who's here. But, guess it gets rowdy among the librarians.
They're quiet folk. You can't trust them quiet folk.
And people are pretty appreciative to get healed up pretty quick for a small donation to the deities of the land.
You guys do see that over in the corner of the tavern, there is a small little shrine that wasn't there before, that is dedicated to Torm.
Are there T-shirts for sale?
Because I want one.
Torn loves you, buddy.
Oh man!
You notice, and there is a stack of shirts.
That should be Buddy Term. Like from Dogma. Buddy Torm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would walk over there and look down and see the shirts and just chuckle and say under my breath, "I think Torm loves us all."
And
What?
just as you're standing there, you see written above the shrine, it says, "Torm loves you, buddy."
Boy, 2 shirts, get 1 book half off.
Exactly.
Friendliest god of war and duty ever.
Mm.
Hey, so I reach in my pouch and I pull out that metal device that I used to take a chunk out of Bludger's arm.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on the table. So, no, it's all right. I don't need any more. I got yours. It's in a jar in my pouch. It's fine. So, I just want to offer the same thing to everybody else. I mean, if we're not going to be together for a while, I'd hate for. I mean, we always work so well as a team, but without any one of us and any one number of our problems that we ran into, I think we'd probably have been doomed. And I'd rather have you, if things go bad, wake up in my lab than not wake up at all. Anybody else interested?
I'm thinking I still got to think about that for a little while. Immortality is quite a complex question, right?
But to be fair, Harsh is a monk, and they tend to live pretty long. I mean, they're all on the spiritual key of the universe. The Starflower's an elf, so, she ain't dying anytime soon.
But we all almost just died.
Right, but I mean, like, of natural causes.
I'm sure, but I'm just worried because I'm going to be busy and everybody's going to be busy. And what happens if one of you guys gets captured by any number of things that have been our nemesis all along? What if the Feywild comes back to get revenge for the princess, or the Cayuse servants come back from where I banished them to? Or I guess I said forever. That's a wish, so they probably can't. But anyway, what if? I got a lot of what ifs.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
I don't want to
make a lot of enemies, and those enemies had friends. I definitely hear what you're saying there.
So are we agreeing to make a pact or some sort of deal where if any one of these fellas comes back, they all agree to meet back up and deal with it?
Yeah, I'll be there.
For sure. Got everybody's back.
Yeah.
Well, it seems that if that's the case, then you need something that will allow you to get into communication with each other, doesn't it?
Yeah.
God, here's one of those teleportation scrolls. Don't read it.
I can make a sending stone and leave it here, but I don't know how it would work as far as everybody traveling.
Saris just goes over and puts a hand on Bludger's shoulder and says, "Not gonna do another scroll, and I will read them. You don't need to."
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wait. I got an idea. All right. So, Orsic, you build a giant light, and we put it on top of one of these buildings in Candlekeep. And when you turn it on, it makes this bright light with a storybook symbol in the middle. And when that goes up, wherever we can see it in the world, then we all go to Candlekeep. Huh? It's genius.
Oh, yeah. Gears are already thinking in my brain here.
We'll call it the book symbol.
Yeah.
The book light.
Not one to raise too intelligent a point, though, but if Starflower's on a different plane and the rest of us are all spread out all across the continent, I mean, even if you say the bloody thing, it's going to take forever to get back here. Hey,
What if I
wait,
could make
oh
a
no.
smaller version that if the big one went off, like we all had like an amulet or a wristband or
Oh,
something that also
Well,
kind of lit up.
When Lorden originally almost died in our last fight, he had that thing go off that kept him from dying because it was the thing happened. So what if you wave your magic wand and say something like, "If something ever threatens Candlekeep or the world again, it shall teleport so and so here."
hang on a second. There's some limitations, but that's not a terrible idea, Bledger. What if, let me think it through. No, that might work great. The contingency that if any of us are in any real danger, I'll know, and then I'll come get you, and we'll go take care of it. Yeah, I think I could do that.
Perfect.
But if you're
I mean-
in danger, Larden, would that work? Like, would we know?
I mean, no.
He's
But of
technically
all of
not
us,
allowed.
but of all of us, I have a clone. I'm probably the best at avoiding danger, right? When we think about it. Well, all right, Starflower's better at it, like by leaps and bounds. But
As you see, Starflower turns invisible.
right,
She always does that.
I'm actually getting really
I gotta
good at
learn that
hearing
trick.
her. Like I'm pretty sure she's right over there. Larden's like, I got a solution. He pulls up the lantern and kicks the lantern open.
Well, notice whenever the bill comes due, she turns a bit now.
Yeah.
You guys see put onto the table in front of you are they are cuffs made out of metal. Each of them very much looking like they would go with the aesthetic that you normally use. So you see that Hush has it's black and very much would match their feathers. Star, yours seems to have looks like it has vines and stuff on it. The Bludger's has his maul as well as some leaves and stuff on it. The one for Orsic, you notice it has like very linear lines and construction. And the one for Rycanus matches the design on your shield. And Larden, yours has the elements on it. Designs of the elements. So you see like a wave of water, a lightning bolt, what looks to be a fire bolt. Just those kind of elemental things. And she sets them down in front of you and says, "You've been together for so long at this point. It only makes sense that you would have the ability to contact each other. So, I had already made these before the last fight. Just as a thank you for taking care of making sure my husband came home alive each time you went. But also in protecting not only him, but myself and my child. These will allow you a sending spell
Oh, cool.
at no
wow.
cost to any of you to be able to contact each other, to stay in touch, and it will allow that message to go to the Feywild or to wherever you are. You will also notice on each of them there is the symbol of a book. When pressed, the rest of them will light up. The symbol will light up.
Oh, these are awesome.
So that you know
Yeah.
that someone is in danger.
Nice.
Very cool.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Thank you. This
These
is
would be
amazing.
perfect.
I
That's
pin it on
my
my
wife.
profile. She's pretty great.
No touchy.
I don't know. She'll, war mage me.
Yes, we decided, by the way, she's a war mage.
I don't know what that means, but all right.
Uh-huh. That's why she was in charge of getting all of the people situated. So, okay, thank you, Tor. Nyx would have gone to Waterdeep to see Bit, and then visited, or then teleported to the, crap, I don't remember what the ship's name was, to her previous party.
Right on.
To captain's ship that he has, that you
Hey.
raised from the bottom of the Cholton Sea. Yes. Huh?
Hey,
No bigs.
do you
Yeah.
have-
No, literally no bigs. She just stood there and on top of the water because she didn't go water and just raised it from the bottom of the sea.
Larden to look up at Saurus. Hey, do you have one for Nyx?
I've already sent it to them.
Oh, did you? All right.
I did.
Cool.
Yep.
I was going to teleport it to them.
Yeah. No, I've already, given it to them. Before they left, I had a package for them that included theirs.
Yeah.
Because I
Nyx
had a
is pretty
feeling
big.
that one of you would leave fairly quickly.
Mhm.
So, but that is okay. So
It's good to have another wizard along.
it
until
was
Charlie-
good to
Yeah.
have another wizard along. And
I'll,
it's always good to, share spell books too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Is
take my.
everyone else?
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said, no, I'm gonna. Rycanus will walk up to Larden and kind of put his gauntlet under his arm, take it off, and roll up his sleeve and look at him and go, "Hey, all right, give it a go."
All right,
And
you're
put
in?
his arm out. I'm in.
You probably want to drink a shot first. You ready?
The whole bottle. No.
I'll hit him while he's drinking.
He takes
that
a
it?
good
Is
chunk
that
out
it?
of your arm.
Yep, and he shoves it in a glass vial that actually was already marked Rycanus on it, with just an R. And he screws the bottle thing, puts it in his bag of holding, and casts the
Rycanus.
wounds on your arm. And
Yeah.
heals him.
Like, I go. I have a vault they've given me in Candlekeep to hide all my diamonds, so the Tiffany's and company people don't get a hold of it and start crying.
All right, I will.
Don't worry, Rycanus. I have already set up a spot within the tavern for you. I made an extra dimensional spot that you can have and keep that.
Oh, wonderful!
Yes.
I'll
I
get
got a lot of ice.
I gotta build a vat for you, but it'll be a little creepy for a while, but you get used to it. But then and we can put that wherever you feel is most secure. Unless you want me to keep it at my place, it's up to you.
Hey, keep it with you. Keep it with you.
All right.
So
Put it in my lab.
I'll keep my gold in. I've got say here. Yeah. Carry the 1. Carry the 2. Carry the 3. Carry the 4. 5.
I have it. Just hand it over. I'll take care of it.
So then we're gonna take out a big pouch. So I've got one. I've got 88,878 gold pieces. And I will put it on the table.
Okay.
Is this a lot? I mean, it looks like a lot, but
That's a lot.
You see, she's just waiting, and then she'll take and reach over to the bag, take out like a handful of coins, and give them back to you. We'll say 100 gold, and then she touches the bag again, and it disappears.
Why do I feel like I've just been Jane Jetson?
We have a child to take care of.
But he's not gonna cost 100,000 gold, is he? I don't know. Our kid's expensive. I don't know.
They are,
How?
and it depends on if he's the only one.
How? Well, I mean, 100 gold. I mean, that's what some people live on for a year or two, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah. I used to live on a heck of a lot less.
How? Yeah, all right.
I mean, I wouldn't call it much of a living, but you know, I didn't.
I mean, I don't really have to
Like-
go into it. I mean, while you're here, and you know, Bob is a fantastic cook. You look over and you'll see Bob sitting on the counter.
Oh yeah, yep.
And then when you look away, and you look back, and there's a steak on a plate, and you have no idea how it got there. But Bob's empty stone smiles are staring at you like a void in your soul.
That's
Saris
weird.
looks over at Larden and just locks eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, you know what? Here, let me do this. Larden, give me a perception check, please.
I gotta pull up a character sheet. For that.
I know, right?
I gotta get the roll.
Wait, we got a roll.
I'm
Roll
curious.
initiative.
I am super curious just to see how much you notice.
What the heck am I rolling? Perception.
Perception.
My notoriously highest skill.
I know. That's why I'm like, wait, no, we have to roll this.
Yeah, it's just a d20 roll because I have a 0.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a 9.
Okay.
You've got a 0? I don't even have that.
I have 0 perception.
Wow.
I want to point out Tor is in chat on Twitch, and she rolled because I have a perception and a lurk that will actually roll a die. She rolled perception in chat, and she got a 19. So Nyx from elsewhere knows exactly what happened and knows that it was Saris that does it with mage hand.
But you don't know. You just know it's Bob.
Right. Exactly. The roll was to see if you notice her hand gestures to cast Mage Hand.
I didn't catch it.
Nope, nothing.
And so you just see this stone rock just staring at you, this empty gaze. And a steak just magically appeared.
Magically appeared. That's the
When
key.
you look away and look back.
Things getting creepy.
I don't mind Bob.
I don't
He's a
mind.
good hand.
He doesn't. Okay, yeah.
And he's great at counting out change.
Mm-hmm.
He's a solid employee, I tell you.
Yeah, he's solid. You know.
Reliable.
Right?
Look on
Totally
the wall,
right.
you'll see a picture, Employee of the Month award. And that's 6 months is old Bob.
He's the most consistent employee that you have, yes.
This is amazing.
It's about this time that you see, or at first you hear it, and then you see the back door, or the door that leads to the private residence of Bludger. The door swings open real hard, like smash against the door frame, and in runs the mini Bludger.
Ah, little Rosiel.
Is that his name? No.
What?
Was that his name? Razio?
Yeah.
I forget.
But
Yeah.
it's clear, you know, and when I butt the door last time.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep. Yeah. Hey Z, how you doing?
I'm good.
Cool. Come here. I got something for you.
And he comes running over.
And I reach behind his ear and pull out a silver piece. Ha! You keep storing
That's
them
so
back there.
cool.
And put it back in his palm.
Why is it that you're the only one who can find it? I keep looking.
I know, right? You just got to dig a little harder. You just got to think about it. Turn your will into reality. Reach into the weave. Works every time.
Wait, does that kid have silver in his ears? Saurus.
That's
you
what
know
I'm
he has
saying,
silver-
Dad.
You know he has silver in his ears. Wait, do you have silver in your ears? I'm gonna reach behind her ear to see if I can find a gold piece. A
You
silver
do
piece.
not.
Yeah.
You have to turn your will into reality, apparently.
Wait.
No. No. The will
I'm
is
telling
not
you.
strong in this one.
It's prejudice against barbarians, I'll tell you.
But, okay. So, Bludger,
Right?
what are you and your family going to be doing from here on?
So, understanding his own mortality, he will have taken Larden up on his offer to basically clone him. But knowing that even with Sylvan in his blood from his mom, that only means he probably has like a lifespan a little longer than the average human. So every additional lifespan if Larden's still around, he'll seek him out to create a new clone. And he's mostly going to be a family man. He will have a second kid at some point, and he will name her Jade after Quill.
Aww.
Oh, that's cool.
Bludger's gonna have a second kid and name it Jade after Quill. Aww.
And then basically he's going to spend most of his time just kind of running the bar, but a little bit of his downtime he's going to spend still searching for a Fountain of Youth. He just knows at some point Larden may not be around in the future to keep extending his lifespan. And ultimately what he's going to try to do is find a wish spell so he can wish that his family would live as long as they actually wanted to.
Okay.
Or at least matching his wife's lifespan, because technically succubi are like immortal if nothing kills them. They just keep living, so.
Okay.
But he'll also be the defender of Candlekeep. Him and his blink dog and his 2 kids and his sister, who's he tells her when he's basically out terrorizing some poor bastard or group of bastards. He might try to find her at some point, but
Okay.
Red Canis would come along for the ride.
Okay. All right. Well, then that is going to bring us to our Q&A section here. So, one of the questions, as we take a step back from the story seekers and into actual players, I have a couple of questions for each of you because this is the first characters you have made to level 20. And ironically, the full scope of your group are all single class, no multis. Because Orsic did rebuild it, so he's 20 artificer. So one question I have is, when you built these characters, when they were those baby level 1 characters, you had a little bit of a plan for them. Is where they ended up anywhere near the plan you had to begin with for them? Anybody is free to answer.
I would say Bludger kind of did. I didn't have a really in-depth plan beyond looking for a storybook and smashing up libraries that don't have it.
Okay.
That was kind of the basic thing, and then I think the turning point was probably the spa chapter.
That was early too.
Yeah.
That was the turning point, and then it kind of. He's probably the first character I've made in D&D that kind of had like his own evolving mythos, with adding more and more layers to like his family and his backstory and general motivations until it became what, level 20 with a wife and technically a blink dog and a kid.
Yeah.
Definitely was not in the plan when I first made this character.
Okay. Who else? Anybody else have an answer to that?
Yeah, I think Larden developed, my only plan for him was to because I came in at level 1 when everybody else is level 4, I think. I wanted to make sure that, that was reflected in his character arc, which went from somebody who was, a neophyte and actually, a kid to somebody who came into, the full, sort of development of his power, but didn't lose that kid from the beginning, if that makes sense, right?
Right.
And so I think that worked out really well. And I picked Abjuration, I think, because for a couple of character reasons, but I'm glad I stuck with it the entire time and was an abjurer and didn't switch out of that specialization as we went. But yeah, he developed kind of what I hoped he would. He developed as an abjurer throughout, and with a primary goal of protecting his friends. So.
Okay. What about you, Star? Was this where you wanted Star to go?
When I first created Star, I was confused because this is actually the first time I played Ranger at all.
Okay.
So I had no idea how Rangers work. I just want to see how I want to see how strong the class can be. And when I played Star, it was funny because it was funny a bit because of the whole emotions dictate. I think my favorite emotion was the anger star, more the star fire.
Yeah.
You know,
More.
it's really funny because with Star, like Cooper plays with me on several tables a week, and Star is like Cooper has been playing with me since 2019, and I think this, with the exception of maybe your very first character with me, I think this is the least bullshit character you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here's the thing, I have no idea how Ranger works, so I just wanted to see how the class is without. Because if I wanted to, I can just take a few I was enjoyed and have some healing powers added to Star and all lots of stuff.
Right.
But I just want to see how Star goes. I want to see how well I can make the character sign. My favorite part is when I learned invisibility. I think the minute I got that, like, this is perfect. I could do so much trickery with this. And also, everyone in the table knows this. I'm at school right now. I'm planning on doing summer as well. So have a character be invisible could explain why I'm not here all the time and why I'm so quiet all the time.
Right. It worked out, yeah.
Definitely played into real life there. Yeah, it was great.
Okay. What about you, Orsic?
Yeah, I can't say that. I had an idea in my head of what Orsic was going to be. Probably more focused on the inventor tinkerer style, but the more he got involved with Candlekeep and magic and the adventuring side of himself, I think he did change a little bit from my original thought. Not a whole lot. Like I knew he was going to be kind of the steadfast character, like not really the front or the back, just kind of hanging in there and helping out where he could. So no, this is my first time playing an artificer, and the armor just felt like a really cool class with the whole ability of the armor is really a part of him, not necessarily something he wears, right? So, I really like the way he developed with that.
Okay. What about you, Rykanis? Was this what you had planned for him?
No. This was the second cleric I'd ever played in my very short D&D playing. Well, I've been playing since 2019. Table and online.
Right.
So this was my second cleric, and the first was a life domain that I played with you for I think up to level 9 or 8 or something.
Yeah.
And I had no idea how a war cleric or a war domain cleric was going to play out. So I read a little bit, and it just, through the help of all you guys kind of not steering me, but, advice and tips and stuff on how to play, I was able to really enjoy playing.
You did a good job with him.
Yeah, you did drop me a few times.
Hey,
I was down and out a few times.
Dude. Yep.
But no, playing this and being able to, the view or the vision I had for him was, I think it's in Band of Brothers, where they're in the second movie where they're fighting in the French town, and that medic is just walking, unnerved, and giving the last rites to people, the soldiers. That's the vision in my head when I played Rykanis. I'd see everybody roll in to do whatever, and I just close my eyes and look up.
Nice.
And so here we go. So yeah, it was pretty fun playing it.
Okay.
I will say that Larden changed not as a character but as a person at a few key points in the story. and I think that was really cool. The biggest one I think was during the one with the Lycan Lich, when the fairy like sacrificed itself, you know, and that just like wrecked him. So I mean, there was a lot of really cool moments like that happened. Some that we never really even talked about. The maddest Larden was with the wish, when Bludger used the wish.
Yep.
But he never explained. He never could explain why. Like we never had that conversation after that. But there was a very real reason for that, and that is he could have made his life before he became a wizard better.
Right.
Does that make sense? He could have unwoven what happened to him as a kid, which was a very young perspective. When he actually got wish and was able to do it, he realized how much power that really was. And so in retrospect, he was glad that he never did that, you know. But at the time, he was like, I can get my mom back, you know.
Right.
There's anything, and you wish for a storybook. They never had that fight, but they never had that out. But that was
who's to say him wishing for that happen wouldn't have flashpoint paradoxed him into just being a regular dude later.
Right.
Yep, and which is eventually the conclusion that he came to later when he got the power to do it. He's like, this can go any way. That, you know what I mean? So unlike most wizards, he's not. He thinks. I mean, he's very Spider-Man-esque. You know, he's like, this is a lot of power that I have, and I have to be very responsible with it. But he didn't have it at the time. He was a sad kid that missed his mom. You know.
Right.
So.
Going back to that moment when the wish was used, I think that was a pretty both pivotal and bonding moment for the team. I think, in my opinion, it was kind of like we all had to figure out what to do with this thing, and it wasn't clear where we all want. Like, you know, it wasn't like we all agreed, and I thought that actually, in my opinion, made our team better.
Right.
In a way.
Yeah.
Well, there was, and Ragnarok, you had put it into our Discord chat to rewind and take that out and do something else with it. But I thought it was perfect for what the story needed. Because at that point, you guys really weren't, as a group, ready for a wish spell. You know? Like, you could have done something, you know, with it to be like you're all, you know, have resistance to fire damage or whatever. But as a group, you weren't connected enough to really think along those lines. You were still very much thinking about yourselves.
Right.
So for Bludger to do that for Quill, which was not even with you anymore, was just at Candlekeep, I thought that was very pivotal. You know, you guys did so good with the outcome of that and what happened, you know, that led you on from there. And yeah, so it was good. It was a good point to have that moment for Bludger's character to do that for Quill, but also it gave me the opportunity for Quill to give Bludger the book that he had been looking for all of this time. So, you know, it worked out to end that part of your quest, as it were, Bludger. So to bring in your backstory and that point, that worked out really well. Is there any RP ideas that you had for your character that never really worked out for your character? Like things that perhaps you had wanted to do, but then just kind of, or backstory stuff that just kind of didn't work out, and you pivoted from that?
If I could go first?
Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
As I said before, I like how the elephants had different emotions. It can lead to different, you know, like 4 different characters. But I only use 3 of them, and that's because the 4th one, I believe, is the fall one. Because that emotion is all about doing things peacefully.
Yeah, this group doesn't do that.
No. And it's like, the idea was to have like a a point to be like the party mom, like try to talk to the enemies. But most of the enemies we face, not all of them will talk or do things peacefully.
Right.
And I never had the chance to do it, so that's one missed opportunity. But like I said, the other three emotions, especially the summer, was my favorite. So even though I didn't do all four of them, it's Star Wars still nice. So.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'd say I covered all of my bases.
Okay.
I mean, I felt pretty good about mine. I mean, the two big hooks I had with me was, you know, kind of being the inventor type and tinkerer, and the other one was the missing, you know, left leg.
Yeah.
And
which didn't really come into play as much as I had originally wanted it to. I want to say that for me, that was one of the things that I would say I missed.
Yeah, I mean, the stories just didn't lend to
It
opportunities. Yeah, I don't think it was really on anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, the one big opportunity I had, which I enjoyed, was during the we always go back to, I think it was probably our most memorable one, was the spa story, where I was able to walk around without my armor on for a while, you know. But but I think I covered most of what I was looking for.
Okay. Okay. I have one other question that kind of goes with that one. For all you spellcasters, was there a spell that you have access to that you wanted the opportunity to cast but didn't get a chance to?
Shape change.
Shape change, okay.
Yep. I never got it. I had it memorized a couple of times. After we fought Caius and spells lower than level 6 didn't affect him, I was like, okay, I need something to do in case we run against anything like that. So in downtime, they don't know this, but you do. Larden summoned a bunch of different demons and then like went out and scryed on and then befriended several different dragons during that big downtime before after Caius, but before this last section of adventures, so that he would have things that he could shape change into just in case they ran into that. But it never came up. You know, I either had to cast a wish to deal with the worm mages, or I had to, you know, like I had a bunch of different ninth level spells that I cast, but yeah, that was the one for me that I never got the chance to do.
Okay.
But totally prepped for it. I was going to become a Merilith or a Baelor or something. It was going to be great.
Nice.
Oh wow.
But yeah, Larden was literally just like summoning demons in a warehouse in Waterdeep, just to get a look at them and then banishing them right back to the hells.
Nice.
Oh man, good thing the health inspector didn't touch it.
Right. Does anybody else have a spell that they wanted to cast but didn't get a chance to?
The only spell I could think of was the third level spell called Lightning Arrow.
Oh, yep.
But here's the thing, that calls a bonus action and a concentration, and most of the things I do is concentration, so...
Rangers have a lot of concentration spells, yep.
So...
Actually...
What was that?
Go ahead, Coop.
Yeah.
Huh? What were you just gonna say?
Oh, Tor says she missed the opportunity to do power word stun. But then again, you guys literally beat the shit out of him before she could get that far.
I think that was one roll away. Like
it was. On her next turn, she would have been able to cast it. Yeah.
Yep.
So there was one thing I wanted to do, and it was a couple levels ago, and Susan knows about it because I kept bugging her every Friday. But it was before Larden became Super Wizard. So there was going to be a point around near the end of the actual book adventure where Bludger would have had a run-in with Alistair, who is my level 19 warlock, who basically travels around and he hunts demons and devils and basically tries to keep the order on the plane. But he has a staff of the Magi. There was going to be a interaction with the two of them that would lead to Bludger basically having to take care of it until Alistair got back. So he was going to be walking around with a staff of the Magi, basically using it like a back scratcher or a walking stick. in front of Larden, not even knowing what it was, just thinking, okay, it's just a stick.
Yep.
Give me that thing. Give me it.
Uh,
Give me $5 for it.
Right.
Mhm.
I think that one of
Down in
the
the
most
basement.
enjoyable parts I had with this kind of the whole campaign was the interaction of Bludger and Larden and the whole muscle wizard.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
early on, that was just a stroke of, I don't know, genius, luck, mixture of both, but it really was awesome, I thought.
It was a good time.
What was the first thing that started it? Like, what was the very first thing that started it? I'm trying to remember.
I want to
think we were in
say it was something Larden went to go like lift something or open something or whatever, and was too weak to do so, and Bludger just jumped in on the whole, we need to bulk you up, you're too skinny, you know, muscles and all that stuff.
I
I
mean,
think it was a door. He was trying to get a door
Mhm.
open.
That's what it
and
was.
He did an athletics check that was just, it was a wizard's athletics check.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah.
And Bludger would always get into like a 3-point football stance and just go barreling through doors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Larden
Led
could pick.
to-
Yeah. Larden could pick locks, but he didn't want people to think he was a thief. But that's literally what his name means, because he was a thief before he became a wizard. But he can pick locks, and so he would pretend in that first couple of adventures to be like, he would sleight of hand to make it look like he was casting a spell on it and just try to use a lockpick. After a while, we didn't need me to do that anymore, but
Right.
but yeah, that's one of the things he could do.
And with him
he-
having Larden doing laps in the morning.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty
Push-ups.
funny. The push-ups
Yeah,
was
like,
pretty funny.
like calisthenics, the whole nine yards.
Right.
Right up there with Bludger writing a book about musclemancy.
Well, and he,
Yeah.
you know, Larden didn't have a family. He got kicked out of the house when he was like 10 by his mom, and so the story seekers, the reason he was so desperate to be approved by them is because he never had anybody, you know, like that was like family like around him, and so that's why he was so desperate to be approved by them and desperate to protect them and keep them safe and keep them together, because he, you know, it was the only family he'd ever had.
Right.
So
Okay.
I really liked how you played him early on with the whole timid, like, you know, do I really belong with you guys kind of,
right.
you know, persona. It
Yep.
was really well done.
Well, for sure.
That was actually probably one of the smoothest transitions of a character, you know, coming in at level 1 to a party that's been established. Yeah, you guys did really well with the exception there, and I think it might have helped that up to that point you had Quill, who was a wizard, so it worked to, you know, transition wizard to wizard. But yeah, you guys did good on that transition, and I think it didn't hurt the whole spa episode. But yeah. Was there anything that you guys had in your backstory that you kind of wish you would have been able to touch on more?
I definitely wanted to have the moment where Larden like laid out the sad for everybody. Right?
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
whole sad thing.
I couldn't figure out where to put that. That was
Yeah,
my
right.
thing. I couldn't figure out, like, it didn't really.
The only opening I think would have been the person who taught him magic, who was taken away while he was hiding, but he never understood that guy's fate. That guy could have survived, you know, who knows, right?
Well,
Like,
my
that
other
could've-
thought was when you guys got stuck in the Feywild.
Yeah.
That was my
absolutely.
other. I had thought about that, and it was just like I didn't quite have it figured out before you guys got sucked over to the Feywild.
Right.
So, or else it would have been probably right there.
He would have talked about it if anybody died. Like if anybody in
Right.
the party had died, he would have started talking about that, because it would have been a big, like, if somebody died in the party, he'd have lost his mind. Like he'd have, you know, blamed himself, the whole 9 yards.
Right. Does anybody else have anything backstory wise that, like, Orsic, this would have been like your leg,
Right, yeah.
you know, or anything else that anybody had in their backstory that they would have perhaps wanted to explore more?
Maybe a touch more with his mom being a dryad, but or having because she did
Yeah.
appear in that one adventure when we went to the Feywild, which was cool.
Which was awesome, because you were supposed to meet a dryad anyway, and I was like, and we meet Bludger's mom. I'm like, and score.
That's totally who Larden marries one day. He marries Bludger's mom. I'm kidding.
Oh man!
Make
Well,
Bludger call you dad.
Bludger knows where your tank is with your clones, so I wouldn't recommend that. That I would say, other than that, favorite moment, not counting the Spock, because that would obviously win, was when we had to sneak into that mansion to do the thing, I think, with the Beholder, and we had no obvious way in, so Bludger posed as a evening entertainer with body glitter
Yeah.
and a bow tie.
I forgot about that
yeah.
adventure. That was pretty good.
That was.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was early too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying, Lard made a bet with Rykanis that he couldn't pull it off, so he talked a couple out of their tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
This was
yeah.
a workout party.
That was
Yep.
the
I
one with the
remember that.
Beholder. That was the one with the Beholder.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the more RP heavy
Yeah.
stories. That was a lot of fun. I remember that. Yeah.
I think I lost 50 gold.
There are not pictures of glitter Bludger, but there should be.
I could make some. You remember when I first made Bludger and I forgot to give him pants?
Yes. Yes.
I tried to post his Hero Forge art in the Discord, and Discord flagged it for being potential, like,
Oh my goodness, did it?
Yep.
it did.
All right. Kate and
Hero
Cause,
Forge.
Kate or Cause, you gotta get on that.
Version.
Yeah. It
That was
was.
back when
Yeah.
Bludger was like the unofficial face of the party with his 0 charisma, but somehow magically passed all his charisma checks.
Yep.
It was amazing.
Yep. I think that we did kind of go over it a little bit before you got here, Ragnarok. Sarah's saying, look at how much Bludger's changed. When I met him, he wasn't even wearing pants.
That is true. He had
That
a
is true, yeah.
loincloth on.
Yep, his loincloth. Yeah. And I think it was. I'm trying to remember, but it was a couple of sessions after Larden joined that you guys were. It was one of your shopping trips or whatever, and it was like, "Can we buy Bludger some pants? Can we? Can we?" It's like,
Yeah,
yes,
got
but he
tailored
won't wear
pants.
them. Yeah.
He didn't start wearing pants in public until he got married.
I should say I should cop to the fact that Larden had a crush on Starflower for a long time, a fairly significant one. He never acted on it at all, but he definitely had that going on for the duration. Probably the last 5 or 6 levels of play, I would say.
Nice.
And so, yeah.
Early on, I was crushing on Quill.
You
Nice.
were. That's right. Yep. Yeah, you were crushing on Quill at the beginning. Bludger. Tor just goes, wait, who? Apparently that went right over her head. That's funny. Will make men do strange things like wear pants. True facts, Kate. True facts. It was funny because I think the reason you went with the loincloth or whatever was you couldn't find pants that worked or whatever on the Hero Forge.
Yeah, because all the pants were like ugly, and I'm like, oh, these all look terrible. Let me just do this loincloth looking thing, and it looked like he had no pants on. Just running around, swinging his warhammer into the breeze. I don't know.
Right. Well, I hate to tell you, Bludger, you probably would have had to work really hard to win over Quill, since the very first encounter you guys went on was where you were hitting books.
Well, that's right. You're knocking all the shelves over.
You were knocking all the shelves and knocking the books, and that was definitely not a way to the librarian wizard's heart.
In his defense, the books did attack afterwards, so clearly they were not normal books.
Well, yes, of course, but still, yeah.
Oh, look, Discord didn't flag it. That was
It didn't flag
yeah,
it. Yeah,
He was so skinny back then.
he was. He was very skinny back then.
It's the before shot on your next book coming out. Right?
Uh-huh. Right? Yep. That's funny. Yeah, it was...
I kind of wish Bob was on, because I've got questions about Hush. I think that Hush is like a stone cold murderer, and like we just got lucky.
I'm gonna go with you're probably
A
not
lot of
wrong.
things under his breath that were like, wait, what did you say?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Like when Larden thinks of all of his friends, and he's like, "Who's my murder friend?" That's definitely
Hush.
Hush.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh well. Does anybody have any questions for anyone else specifically, either about decisions you made as your character, or like anything that your character did, or what?
What is the origin of the lost leg? That's what I want to know. How did he lose his leg?
So it came about when Orsic was young, and he was supposed to be working in his dad's shop, and kind of got distracted on venting things and tinkering with things, and before he knew it, ended up creating a big pressure explosion, for lack of a better word, and blew up his dad's shop and business. So,
oh my god,
part of his storyline was not only to repair the dad's shop, but there was a little bit of reminder everywhere he went of what he had done, and to be a little bit more careful with what he invented. But yeah, that's really where that happened.
huh?
That's why I was always on our downtime going back and checking on the shop and the folks.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Larden saw that. Actually, that was one of the things that everybody had something that Larden really admired about them when he met them. And when he realized that Orsic was just kind of running around, you know what I mean, like living his life like that, he thought that was really like a big deal. That was the thing that impressed him about Orsic the most.
Cool.
Is that he had this thing and he didn't, it's just part of who he was, So
Thank you.
Yeah, we Tor and I actually, on the way home last night, we were listening to a podcast, and it was about how bringing some of the disabilities or whatever into D&D games, and how some people feel that needs to be a major plot point that's always out there in front. And I love the way that you had this disability, you figured out a way to make it work, and it, like I said, I kind of wish I would have brought up a little bit more of it, but for the most part, it, for lack of a better term, didn't slow you down.
Right. Well, and it was part of his decision to actually take the mobility feat, to tell you the truth, because he wanted to prove to himself that it wasn't something that could slow him down. Right. So,
And as a person who had firsthand knowledge of dealing with the loss of a limb, as my mother had a prosthetic, it was one of those that I had a hesitation, but also I had a want to make it a bigger part. But I think it's amazing that you really did make it be just as much of a thing as Bludger and the Musclemancy kind of thing. It just became a part of who you were and what you brought to the party.
Well, yeah. I mean, thank you. I tried to do it more subtly, like whenever there was a moment to step out of the armor, right, or meet somebody new, that kind of stuff. Right?
Yeah.
That was I thought that was really well done. I thought
Well,
that
that's
was really cool.
like technically, and kind of went over this before. Nyx has a phobia of water, and that comes from.
So the whole underwater adventure would have just been horrifying.
Yeah, that has come from the very beginning of her character, and she, as she progressed, took all of the spells that would allow her to manipulate water, or take fire spells to be able to dry up water. That's why she always cast underwater breathing, made sure you guys were covered, walk on water, all of that, because of, it stems back to one of her very first adventure where she stepped on, or she got attacked by, I don't know if she stepped on it, I don't remember, but a invisible stalker. Looked like a puddle of water. And being a gnome, puddles of water that attack you is not going to be a good thing. And so from then on, she avoided puddles. And then, it just progressed. And it's funny because that character started with me, and I ran that invisible tracker story. And then she just made a comment saying, you know, I don't do puddles. And like she would be, she'd jump on somebody's back or whatever if it was, you know, there's lots of puddles around or whatnot. So then when she started playing this character again, I remembered that that was a thing, and so it has influenced the rest of her story build. But that is why she was adamant about casting underwater breathing and doing all that when she went underwater with you guys. So
Makes total sense. Yeah.
That's the character. She says, "Don't say a random thing to your dungeon master because it'll come back to bite you in the ass." It's just one small little comment, and it has now become a major plot point. So, yeah. But so, is there anybody have any other questions about anything?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Ready to close the story. No pun intended.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you, Susan? How was it on your side of the the DM screen? Like, did this, because this was a brand new adventure for all of us.
It
right?
was. It was. I hadn't run it before, and this Candlekeep Mysteries as the book adventure is actually not necessarily written to be a continuous campaign. It is more written for people to take this chapter and plop it into their game. So, like, if I'm running Storm Kings and I want them to go to the desert or whatever, I could pull the chapter about the desert encounter and send them there.
And just pull people there.
So that was a little more difficult to have the continued adventure through, because the way it's written, you always start at Candlekeep and you always end at Candlekeep. So I was actually really glad when Ragnarok, when you decided to do Bludger's Bar, because that gave us a home point and a place to be like, okay, you are all hanging out in the bar when so-and-so comes to, you know, ask you a question. Because it didn't, like, it's a weird way that they have done the lead-ins to the chapters even. And it's like, you know, so-and-so finds this book. Why are they going to bring it to you and not to all of the other people? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I was because it almost became so ordinary. You know, Bludger was always making the comment, "Another book."
But those first ones, it was hard because we didn't, like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
For a, you know, a arc, it didn't really make sense. But once we had the bar, and once you had that point of, okay, everybody goes back to the bar, you have your rooms there already, you're set, you don't have to worry about that. And we know that this is where, you know, you will come back to, and this is where you will start. That worked out really well. And Larden, once you could teleport to Waterdeep to go shopping or whatever, that worked out really well. I gotta say, it was interesting to see where and how you guys progressed. And one of the things on my side of the screen is that, you know, we gotta make sure everybody is engaged and everybody, you know, there's not one that is stealing the spotlight per se. And I think you guys did a really good job of making it so that that wasn't the case. I mean, granted, a lot of the times, you know, maybe Bludger took the lead in a fight, or Larden took, you know, the lead in this, that, or the other. But for the most part, you guys did really well on splitting things up so that, at least in my opinion, nobody was just kind of hanging out in the background. Or if they were, it was because they weren't actually here.
That is amazing because everyone did their part and did it well. I believe so. Wherever, if we miss an attack, why can't it just tour well to buddy?
Right,
I
right.
mean, Haas will always go fast, always hit things hard, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone did their part well, and it was really cool. No one off the spotlight. Once someone does something cool, it was cool and it was enjoyable.
Right. Yeah, and so that made it a lot easier for me in the fact that I didn't have to be like, okay, so this fight's going on and everybody's doing things except for, you know, Orsic. Orsic's kind of staying back and not really doing anything or participating in this puzzle that they're doing or whatever. So it made it easy that even those, like the puzzle parts where Ragnarok, you as a person check out. Even then, like, you guys were including everybody else. Although I have to say, I was still really waiting for you to just smash the thing when they were trying to figure out why those goblins got killed.
Jeez,
I was just waiting
yeah.
for you to just go smash the thing.
His idea of smashing to solve the puzzle was when everyone in the party was getting messed up by stone golems, and he was trying to break a sword out of the dais. Like 3 rounds of combat. All right, everyone's kind of getting their ass kicked. What are you doing? I am trying to pull this sword out because it's what he wants.
I'm pretty sure. Didn't I like yell at Bludger in that scene? Like, get in there!
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, like, are you paying attention?
Well, or Starflower Misty stepping into that throne, even though Larden put the bubble around it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get try to stop Star from doing something he wants, he will do it no matter what.
Yeah.
Even though the player doesn't want it. I don't want to do it, but it makes sense for Star to
And
do
I
it.
appreciate that you guys do that distinction to choose what your character would do, not necessarily what you as a person would choose. So that makes a big difference. I do have another question, though. Of your character, usually whenever you build a character, there is one trait that you give each character you make that is either identical to you as your person or the complete opposite. Is that the case for any of you? Is there one trait that they had that was either the exactly something that aligns with who you actually are, or the complete opposite of it?
Yes.
Which one?
Yeah.
I, as a person, if I ask you, like, 'cause what I do for a living, it requires working with the public. And if I ask you what I can do for you, and you proceed to give me this Lord of the Rings backstory, I check out like in 30 seconds. So Bludger's like me, like, if you want me to do something, you need to tell it to me in like 30 words or less to get to the point. If you start telling me like, oh, back in the age of time, I already checked out like 5 words in. Like, all right, I can tell this is going to be a long one. Just poke him with a stick when the person's story is over.
Nice. Okay.
Larden very much has my protective streak. So I'm protective of people that I care about, and he has that for me. That's kind of, I think, what's most similar about him.
Okay.
To me, also like family stories. So I have divorced home and stuff like that. So typically all of my characters have some element of that in them with their parents. So.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, Orsic as the support role, that's pretty much how I am in life, you know, and at my job, I'm the guy that everybody asks the question, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Right? Or can, pick up slack here or there. And that's kind of how I built Orsic, that same trait of, I'll just build this, right?
Yeah, you kind of had the dad vibe going on a little bit for part of the time.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Ray Canis?
Yeah, I think mine would be Raikanis, and I have the same like service to a group, that kind of mentality that Raikanis by himself is just a cleric, but with a group he's he feels more. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. What about
Yeah,
you,
Bob.
Starflower?
And Hush comes in for the save, by the
He
way. I think
does.
Hush-
Just perfect timing.
Hey, Huts.
Welcome
Hey.
in, Bob. So before we get to Hush, because we have lots of questions for you, Star, is there any trait that Star has that you have, Cooper, or the opposite?
I would say the opposite of me as a person. I'm not that much talk. I don't talk much. I'm where I do action more.
Okay.
And most times Star reflects that a bit. But most of the times you either joke or either prank the people. I'm not much of a pranker myself.
Oh, okay.
So when Star does do pranks, it was interesting for me to do
That
it.
was fun.
Nice.
That was always fun when she was
Yeah.
messing with people.
And it was really funny because Cooper would message me and be like, okay, this is my plan for this person. This is my plan for that person. And it's like, okay, we got to come up with a thing that will work for this person or whatever. It was funny. So I was like, all right, I'm waiting for this is going to happen. And, the point where Star, you went up and was it you kissed Larden on the cheek or whatever?
She kissed Larden after the wish.
Yeah.
She kissed
Yeah.
Larden after the wish.
Oh
He
yeah.
didn't know what the hell to do with himself. He had no idea.
Right.
Because that was like height of crush, and she did it, and he's like, and I have charisma 8, so he's like, and he can't say anything.
Yeah. So, well, welcome on in, Hush. There is, we're kind of in a question and answer thing about your character, about if there was anything that perhaps you wanted to get more involved in with your backstory that perhaps didn't get the chance to happen, or along those lines.
Not really, but everyone needs to make a Constitution save.
All
Let me
right,
see how
everybody
broken
roll a
you become,
Constitution
murderer.
saving throw. Do it.
Did you drink the drink? Did you eat the food?
They did.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I rolled a 1.
Good
Terrible.
job, Larden.
I think it's like a 13 for me. Oh, wait, I have advantage. Hang on. I'm really good at concepts.
That was a joke, guys.
I know, but I want to see what's gonna happen. That's 2 natural ones, though.
When we thought
that
you
guy.
might, of all of us, be the one that would murder somebody.
Yeah, you get the Stone Cold Murderer
Uh-huh.
from
Yep. All right. So, natural 20.
There you
There you go. Nice.
All right.
How am I allowed to? I'm dragging around the picture. How am I allowed to do that? That's crazy.
I don't know.
go. Oh, you gotta click off. Click off.
Oh
we go.
yeah. Make sure you have the arrow selected and not the panning
Mhm.
thing.
Oh, there
Yep.
we go.
Is there so okay. Hush, was there any point well actually your level 20 character versus when you made Hush at level 1,
Right.
is where he ended up where you wanted him to end up?
Well, I wasn't sure, because he was not servant-hearted, but he was a service animal essentially, to begin with. But I didn't know where he was going to end up. I was just sort of like the story to take me, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not end up as a servant. So
Was there any point in the campaign that you feel changed the way that Hush was going in your mind? Like a pivotal point that changed Hush.
probably the fight at the with the monks.
Oh, okay.
man.
Oh,
The one you
man.
guys pretty much
Wow.
walked right over? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That did not.
No,
feel
no,
good.
Into that one that's now
No,
friend.
not easy.
No, the very first part though, you guys walked right over, and then I'm like, we can't have this. Yeah.
I think that one showed our, just kind of going back to what Star said earlier, that one there showed our ability to work as a team. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
everything
I
was coming
Totally
at us.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, just unspoken, we figured out how to make it work. right?
Y'all, I stared
Yeah.
at that battle map. I stared at that battle map for like an embarrassing amount of time that week before the game, just looking at it, thinking like, "What the hell are we gonna do?"
And it
Nice.
felt like that when we were there. Like, oh my
Yep.
god, what's happening? This lady monk just rolled a nat 20 on something. Like, oh my, wow.
Yeah, I have to admit that was when I kind of changed a little bit of my techniques to the fact that you guys were at that point, that pivotal moment of, okay, you're adventurers, and it's like, no, they're good at what they're doing. They can handle themselves. Let's throw a little bit harder at them, so that it made a little bit more of a challenge. And I think that's probably one of the things that with you guys I have had more of a chance to explore, and that's the, like, because there's, especially with Adventure League, they have the, okay, if it's a weak party, do this. If it's your regular party, use the stats for the monster as it is. If it's a strong party, add this amount of hit points to it or whatever, right? And with you guys, I took a little more time in preparing for some of the bigger fights, because there were some of the character sheets, and I'm really hoping that with the book that's coming, Mordekainen's is coming to update some of the stats and stuff, that some of the spellcasters and whatnot get better spells, because there was some that it just didn't make sense why this level 15 person has like the same number of spells as the level 3 person.
Yep.
And granted, there may be a little more powerful, but why do they not have a boatload, especially when it was like a wizard? I'm like, I'm sorry. They would have a lot more spells in their spell book. So that it made me limited as to what I could do. And so that made it where I had to think about it a little bit more and figure out, okay, I may have to consider that, Hush can now fly, or, when Orsic got his winged boots, or whatever, and it's like, okay, all right, we're doing this, and try to come up with a way that would make it so that it's not just you guys walking over a combat, because that's not fun. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for you. And the other thing is, I have never been the dungeon master who wants to just kill her players. I don't want that. I don't want you to die. I want you to come out of this at level 20 and have this amazing backstory of adventure where you almost died, but you survived because of the quick thinking of your cleric or whatever it is. And it is because of that, like, I'm not gonna outright kill you, but with you guys, it has made a big difference, because I could actually, it became fun trying to take down Orsic, because you had this ungodly armor class, and there was literally no way some of the people could hit you. And so I was, when we were going into a fight or whatever, if it was a caster, I would make sure that there was at least one area of effect spell that I could do, or a spell that would require a save that did damage, because that was the only way they were going to hit you.
And I enjoyed that little back and forth too.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, because to me that was a lot of fun. I
And
got you finally.
Right, and that was the thing. Like, especially in that final fight, I wasn't trying to kill you. I'm trying to knock you down. You're gonna get healed again, but I'm trying to knock you down, and make it be that fight for your life. And that's one of my favorite things, and that's what makes it hard for a in tier 1 when you guys are super squishy, because some of the people that you go up against have the potential of taking you down and out, as Bob knows.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to have that moment. Honest to God, it was. My goal for that day was to get Orsic as close to unconscious as I could.
Hey, you maybe used my capstone ability.
I did.
Otherwise, I would have been unconscious without it. So
I hit. Yeah.
You actually put both Orsic and I down. Technically, got us to 0 hit points in that fight, both, which has never actually happened in the campaign before.
And Nyx.
Yeah.
And Nyx.
Yeah.
Because Nyx had
Nyx.
Death Ward, so.
Yep.
It was funny because it was actually the first time that Tor was actually scared that her character would die.
Yeah.
And she's been playing with me the whole time I've been DMing, and so, but honestly, cause it was one of my goals was to get Orsic to do some, to have to worry about it. I can knock out Bludger eventually because he's, we're doing damage, and especially with the Draco Lich doing regular damage plus fire and lightning.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why Hush didn't my goal was to maybe try to damage Hush a little bit and Starflower a little bit because they don't tend to take damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it was my goal honestly was kind of trying to get everybody to half their hit points at least. And I'm not there's some dungeon masters that will drop the character to 0 hit points and then continue to hit them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that person. And so I want you to be worried about it so you take the game seriously. And some tables don't get that, but I'm really glad that you guys did. So
Hey everyone, I just popped in.
hey,
Hey,
Larden, I think you had a question for Hush before we call this to a close.
Oh, let me think. It was about. Oh yeah. So, what alignment was Hush? Out of curiosity.
What alignment is Hush?
Yeah.
He is neutral, chaotic.
Neutral.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, I've often wondered if you were just how much Hush was in it with us because he was devoted to the people, or how much he was in it because it gave him a chance to beat the hell out of things. He was so inscrutable.
Why
I
not
couldn't tell
both?
if it was the Stone Cold
Why not
Murderer or if it was more than that.
I think there's some of all of it, but if you come to his monastery, you're not walking out of there alive if you're planning on taking him down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Letting you know.
Yeah.
But that could be an epic adventure, is to assault his monastery.
But why would we? Why would we do that?
To test the other students.
I don't know why you would, but
To test the other students. Training.
Oh, I would.
Right.
I would come visit and ask you if I can play in the garden. I don't know.
Yeah.
you can training too if you want to.
Yeah. I figure at this point, between Larden's school in Waterdeep and Bludger's bar here at Candlekeep and Hush's monastery, you guys kind of all are bouncing around teaching techniques to, each other's students or, the mini Bludger. And yeah, I figure the fighters and, you guys go and train some of the kids in Waterdeep of defense techniques and how to, handle yourself, and kind of round out some of the monastery guys. So.
Well, and if y'all need deeds done, but you don't want to owe the Zend, I'm the one to talk to.
There you go. Well, then, why don't, on that note, does anybody have anything else that they would like to say about the Story Seekers?
I do have one thing to say.
Sure.
And all the enemies we faced, there's one enemy we didn't defeat quite yet.
Oh.
That damn rock.
Oh,
True facts. True facts. Don't worry. He's still around. Yep. But thank you guys so much for these characters, for the adventure, for the last year of play. You have done so well with these characters, and truly you guys did amazing. And I had so much fun. I always look forward to Mondays with what craziness will come. So thank you. Thank you, Orsic. Thank you, Rycanis. Thank you, King Bludger. Thank you, Hush. Thank you, Larden. And thank you, Starflower. And thank you, Nyx. And thank you, Quill, because they were there too at the beginning, for a great adventure and a great time. And thank you for letting us explore what was the Candlekeep Library. So on that note, with the Redeemed Treat Time by Auntie Kate, we will close this session out and close out the story of the Story Seekers as they go off into the tavern for another drink and get to see where they're get to live and go with where their adventures now lead them. Perhaps to come together again, you never know. But until then, thank you everybody for hanging around with us, watching this crazy adventure, and just enjoying the chaos that can be a full party of single class characters. It's just crazy. So, with that in mind, I just want to remind everybody that on next Monday, we will start a brand new campaign right here at 6 p.m. Pacific, as these adventurers are going, or this party players are going to start back at level 1 with a brand new campaign of Dragon of Icespire Peak. So join us next Monday for that. Also join us, we have Video Game Thursday, Valheim Thursday, and there is a brand new campaign starting on this Friday as well. So join us for that, since Bludger finally convinced me to give him the campaign that he has been waiting for several years now. The opportunity to play a certain character that he's been waiting several years for. So
And we'll enjoy.
And we'll enjoy. Yes. So
Were we?
What?
Were we doing the session 0 for Dragonspire tonight?
Yes.
Still?
Yes. So, all right, guys. Well, we are closing out here. Join us Friday for the brand new campaign, and then Saturday for Strix 7 College of Chaos. Until we see you all again, thank you for hanging out in the DMS Adventurers Tavern, where adventure is always on the menu. Good night, guys.